We're going to be reading some passages from Hobbes's 1651 work, Leviathan, on the origin and nature of political society. One of the first points that we'll see Hobbes making in these excerpts is that there is no natural political hierarchy between human beings. Now, let's think about what that means. If you're going to ask how should society and political life be arranged, one of the first places you would look would be at the nature of things, at human nature and the nature of human society. Perhaps you would find that there are some people who are, by their very nature, uniquely suited to rule, and other people who, by their very nature, require being ruled. So to give an example, look at the family, the human family. Within the family, if I look at the arrangement of the family and the needs of its members, I discover that some members of a family, specifically the children, stand in need of guidance and rule from outside, while other members of the family, specifically the parents, are uniquely able to provide that guidance and rule. They would provide it to children extensively at first, and then with more and more freedom given to the children as they rise toward maturity and the ability to use their reason and function independently. And therefore I would expect that any rational ordering of the family would involve the parents ruling over the children, and not vice versa, and not on terms of equality. That's just what the nature of things requires. So I discover, by looking at the nature of the family and its members, I discover a natural order or hierarchy implicit in the reality of the situation. Is there a similar hierarchy in terms of human political society? Hobbes argues that there is not. He insists that human beings are naturally equal, and we are not going to find any kind of natural basis for a particular form of government or a particular class of rulers and a particular class of ruled. In this he differs from Plato, who you may remember has the three-tiered system in the ideal city. So the first point to get out of this excerpt at the beginning is that Hobbes denies any possibility of a natural hierarchy being the basis of political order. Political order instead is going to be the product of human invention and human will. It's going to be a thing that we create, not a thing that we draw out of our nature. The second important point from the beginning of these excerpts is the character of the equality that natural human beings possess. It is not an equal political freedom, an equal freedom to take part in civic government. It's something much more dangerous and much more primitive. It is, says Hobbes, an equal vulnerability to violent death at the hands of other people. No matter how different we are in strength, even the strongest human being must sleep sometime, and when he's asleep, even the weakest human being, a weak man or a woman or even a largish child, can sneak up on him and smash his head with a rock, meaning that even the strongest among us naturally is as vulnerable as anybody else to being murdered in his sleep, to suffering lethal violence at the hands of other humans. Now, this is the starting point, the natural starting point for political order, but we also have one other important asset when we look at man in the state of nature. We have a rational desire to exit the state of nature. There are many inconveniences and dangers involved in the state of nature, and being rational creatures, we recognize this, and we would naturally want to get out of this situation. And this is the origin of the social contract. The social contract for Hobbes is going to be the means by which naturally free individuals create a sovereign or a government to rule over them and to establish justice among them. That's where we get standards of justice and injustice and requirements for obedience and the beginning of political life.